Welcome back to Homey Studio. Today, we're stepping into the heart of the modern home, the living room, but not as we once knew it. These are not spaces designed to impress from a distance. These are living rooms designed to hold you, to slow you down, and to tell a story the moment you walk in. The latest living room trends move away from perfection and toward presence. They favor warmth over brightness, depth over simplicity, and personality over uniform design rules. Every surface, every seat, every color choice plays a role in shaping how the room feels, not just how it looks. In this video, we'll explore the major elements defining today's living rooms, from bold sofa designs and expressive color palettes to layered materials, architectural softness, and layouts that feel deeply human. The emotional core of today's living rooms. Modern living rooms are no longer designed to be visually impressive first, they are designed to be emotionally grounding. The latest living room trends focus on how a space makes you feel the moment you enter it, and how that feeling evolves as you spend time within it. These rooms are quieter, deeper, and more intentional than previous years, moving away from cold minimalism and towards spaces that feel protective, warm, and deeply human. Color is the starting point of this emotional shift. Instead of bright whites and sharp contrasts, designers are embracing muted, earthy tones that absorb light rather than reflect it harshly. Soft browns, warm taupes, clay-inspired neutrals, olive greens, smoky charcoals, and deep mushroom shades wrap the room in calm. These colors are not meant to energize, they are meant to slow the body down. Often, the same color flows from wall to ceiling, eliminating visual breaks and creating a cocoon-like environment that feels safe and enclosed. Lighting supports this emotional intention. Overhead lighting becomes secondary, sometimes barely noticeable. Instead, light is layered through table lamps, floor lamps, wall sconces, and indirect sources that create pools of softness throughout the space. Shadows are not avoided, they are welcomed. They add depth, mystery, and comfort, allowing the room to feel alive rather than flat. This living room does not perform. It listens. It adapts. It becomes a place where silence feels comfortable, where conversations linger longer, and where rest feels intentional rather than accidental. Sofas as the architectural foundation. In today's living rooms, the sofa is no longer a supporting element, it is the architectural backbone of the entire space. Everything else responds to it, the layout, the lighting, the rug scale, and even the emotional tone of the room. Sofa design has shifted dramatically, prioritizing presence, depth, and physical comfort over visual lightness. Modern sofas sit low and wide, anchoring the space visually and physically. The lower seat height instantly creates a relaxed posture, encouraging lounging rather than upright sitting. These sofas feel grounded, almost built into the room, rather than placed within it. Their proportions are generous, often extending horizontally to define zones rather than merely fill space. Curves dominate sofa silhouettes. Rounded backs, soft edges, and gentle arcs replace rigid straight lines. Curved sofas encourage movement and conversation, making seating feel inclusive rather than directional. Even modular sofas now feature softened edges, allowing flexibility without sacrificing warmth. Fabric choices are deeply tactile. Bouclé introduces softness and texture, corduroy adds visual rhythm, velvet brings depth and richness, and heavy linen offers understated luxury. These fabrics are chosen not for perfection, but for how they age, crease, and respond to daily life. They are meant to be touched, leaned into, and lived on. Color plays a crucial role in sofa identity. Warm browns, camel tones, chocolate shades, olive greens, muted rusts, charcoal grays, and deep plums dominate current designs. These colors ground the room emotionally and visually, allowing surrounding decor to layer naturally without competition. Color stories that shape the space. The latest living room trends abandon rigid color palettes in favor of layered color stories. Instead of selecting 3 or 4 contrasting colors, designers build spaces using variations within a single tonal family. This approach creates rooms that feel cohesive, calm, and intentionally composed. A living room might begin with warm beige walls, deepen into taupe upholstery, and finish with espresso-toned wood elements. Cushions, throws, and art echo these tones with subtle shifts in saturation rather than bold contrast. The effect is seamless and immersive, allowing the eye to move comfortably across the space without interruption. Accent colors appear softly and purposefully. Rather than bright pops, they show up as dusty blues, softened terracotta, moss green, or muted mustard, often seen in art, ceramics, or a single accent chair. These tones enrich the space without overwhelming it. Monochromatic living rooms become visually interesting through texture and material variation rather than color contrast. Matte walls interact differently with light than velvet sofas or woven rugs, creating depth even within a single hue. This layered approach allows the room to feel rich, sophisticated, and timeless. Texture, materiality, and surface depth. Texture has become the primary design tool in modern living rooms. Where color once dominated, materiality now takes center stage. Every surface contributes to how the room feels, both visually and physically. Rugs are oversized, plush, and grounding. Often extending beneath all major furniture pieces, they anchor the space and soften acoustics. Natural fibers, high-pile textures, and layered rugs introduce warmth and depth. Walls are no longer flat and forgettable. Limewash, plaster finishes, microcement, and subtle textural paints add dimension and movement. These finishes catch light gently throughout the day, making walls feel alive rather than static. Wood elements are warm and expressive. Natural grain is celebrated rather than hidden. Oak, walnut, and ash appear in coffee tables, shelving, and accent furniture, adding organic warmth to the space. Stone surfaces, travertine, marble, or textured composites, introduce contrast and weight. Even ceilings become part of the design story. Wood slats, soft beams, or textured finishes visually complete the room, making it feel intentionally designed from every angle. Texture transforms simplicity into luxury. Layouts designed for real life. Living room layouts are evolving to reflect how people actually live rather than how rooms are traditionally staged. Furniture is pulled inward, creating conversation-focused arrangements rather than perimeter layouts. Sofas face each other or curve around central coffee tables, encouraging connection. Walkways feel natural, not forced. Negative space is intentional, allowing the room to breathe without feeling empty. Coffee tables are sculptural but practical, often round or organic in shape to improve flow and soften geometry. Side tables are mixed rather than matched, adding flexibility and personality. This layout philosophy prioritizes comfort, movement, and emotional ease. The room adapts to different times of day, different moods, and different social settings without needing constant rearrangement. The space works with you, not against you. Personality, imperfection, and timeless appeal. The final defining trend in modern living rooms is the rejection of perfection. These spaces embrace personality, history, and individuality. Vintage pieces sit beside modern designs. Handmade objects share space with sculptural furniture. This approach creates living rooms that feel authentic, timeless, and deeply personal. They evolve naturally, adapting as tastes change and stories accumulate. The modern living room is no longer about following rules. It is about creating a space that feels like home, in the truest sense of the word. As living rooms evolve, one truth becomes increasingly clear: perfection is no longer the goal. The most compelling spaces today are not those that look flawless, but those that feel honest. These living rooms are shaped by use, memory, and intention rather than rigid styling rules. Furniture no longer needs to match. A contemporary curved sofa may sit beside a vintage armchair with worn fabric and softened edges. This contrast brings depth and authenticity, making the room feel layered and lived in rather than staged. Imperfections are embraced: a patina on wood, subtle wear on upholstery, hand-finished ceramics that vary slightly in form. These details add soul. Art becomes deeply personal. Instead of oversized statement pieces chosen solely for impact, walls display art that resonates emotionally: abstract works with muted palettes, textural pieces, sculptural wall hangings, or framed sketches that feel collected over time. Art placement feels relaxed rather than symmetrical, allowing walls to breathe. Decor is intentional and restrained. Fewer objects are used, but each one carries meaning. A sculptural vase, a stack of books, a stone bowl, or a soft throw casually draped over the sofa adds warmth without clutter. Negative space is valued just as much as decoration. Plants play a subtle but important role. Rather than filling every corner, greenery is placed thoughtfully, a large floor plant anchoring a seating area, or a small sculptural plant on a side table. The goal is to introduce life without overwhelming the calm. As we look at the latest living room trends, one message stands out clearly: the future of design is deeply personal. These spaces are no longer about impressing guests or following rules. They are about comfort, connection, and authenticity. Sofas become sanctuaries. Colors become emotional tools. Texture becomes language. Layouts respond to real life. And imperfections become the most beautiful details of all. A well-designed living room today doesn't shout. It whispers. It welcomes. It holds space for rest, conversation, and presence. If this style of living room resonates with you, let it inspire you to design spaces that feel calm, grounded, and truly your own. Thank you for spending this time with us. Until next time, stay inspired, and keep creating spaces that feel like home.